How loud now? All those cradles, much better. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Rotary, August something, 8th. It's just Friday. I know it's Friday, you guys. My name's Jennifer Bourne. I am your fearless leader this year. Yay! Our invocation today will be by Jay Evans and our pledge and four-way test by Jared Tanksley.
Please bow your heads. Most gracious God in heaven, we gather today in a spirit of fellowship, service, and shared responsibility. Thank you for the opportunity to come together, to share ideas, to break bread, to deepen the bonds of the Brentwood community, and to unite for good. May we be ever mindful of the needs around us. May our actions reflect the Rotary's guiding principles of truth, fairness, goodwill, and benefit to all concerned. Lord, please bless the meal we are about to receive. Grant us clarity in our decisions, humility in our leadership, and joy in our service. In Jesus' mighty and awesome name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Now the four-way test, the things we think, say, and do. First, second, third, fourth, and finally,
Okay, and now our secretary, Jennifer Shepard, will introduce our guest.
All right, everybody, this is an easy week for me because we just have one guest who you've met before, Randy Lee.
Hello, everyone. Randy Lee, taking the plunge, so I will be an official member soon as soon as I can work the Rotary system and learn the secret handshakes.
Yeah. Glad you're here. Wait, we're not doing happy bucks yet. Are you happy? Okay, keep the happiness for just 1 second. One thing I want to say real quick. Does anybody in here speak French? Even a little bit, even if you took it in high school. Okay. We've got next week, we're going to have what? Next week, we are going to have a visiting Rotarian from France who's going to be here. And he emailed us and said that his English is kind of limited. So we would love to know who speaks a little bit of French, just to have somebody greet him and sit with him to help with translation. So, yeah, Duolingo. And
oh, no, that's not yet. That's not yet. Hang tight. That's okay. We're going to do announcements real quick. A couple things to share with you guys. First thing is, if you guys know our Commissioner Ann Dunn, her husband passed away earlier this week. So just to let you guys know, he is a former Rotarian of this club. And then it's my understanding because the morning club was an extension of this club for a period of time, then he joined the morning club. But if you know Ann, just keep her in your prayers during this. Okay, so if you read reflections, I've been playing some games, you guys, and some of you have been winning some prizes. So I think I've done 4, and Dick Bowers was my first winner. Julie Porter was my second. Matt McCall was my third, and Linus won this week. And we're trying to be a little creative. So if you guys want to play, just read. Just that simple. If you did read reflections, there is in there, I put in there Rotary International. August is what? Do you guys remember? What month is that though they celebrate? Membership. Last week we talked about fellowships. Today, I just want to share with you something about membership. Did you know that we have, and many of you probably do, we have 1.2 million members of Rotary. So Rotarians around the world, 1.2 million as of this year to date. That's pretty amazing. About 15 or 20,000 of them show up at the convention every year. So if you have an opportunity, you get to meet people from all over the world, from 200 different countries. So we are part of a small organization here, but a massive organization worldwide. That is Rotary Minute. And I think I did it in like 10 seconds. So yay for me. Okay, a couple upcoming events. First, Laura. Where's Laura?
Just a reminder to those of you who said that you'd be available, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is our shopping day with back to school items for our friends at Tennessee Baptist Children's Home. We do have a few kiddos who are going to come out with their house parents, and we're going to split up and spread out through Target and take care of them and get to spend a little bit on back to school apparel for them. You're not paying for it. The Rotary Club Charitable Foundation has agreed to cover the cost of that, and we are already set up as a tax exempt organization. Got that finalized this week. So I'll be taking care of it when we check out all together. So if you're able to come, we're going to meet right inside the Cool Springs, not the Brentwood, the Cool Springs Target on Mallory Lane, Galleria Boulevard area. We're going to meet right inside by the Starbucks to get started. Okay, 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Just to make it a big Rotary Day, we are also having a fiesta, unless you didn't read the RSVP, at my house tomorrow. So if you did not RSVP, no worries. If you decide last minute you can make it, just please come by. I over-ordered by 6, which is Larry's motto. So if you guys can come, we would love to spend some time. And I'm going to make sangria that Blue Coast gave me as a recipe. So come with a driver too, if you like to drink. Okay, next we've got Claudia.
Ice cream, you scream, and I'll scream for ice cream. Next, who likes pistachio? Okay. And strawberry? There you go. You can have some strawberry. But I get the big one. Oh. So, but we do want to invite you next week to Morning Point of Brentwood, just down the way on Wilson Pike. Y'all are going to be serving ice cream. We'll have all the toppings for it, everything there for you, and maybe even visiting with a few members. They would love to meet you. If you're a veteran, I encourage you to come and wear your hat or something that signifies that you're a veteran, because we have a lot of veterans who would love to talk to you. So hope to see you there. It's right after our program here. So we'll get started about 1:45, 2 o'clock.
All right, Larry.
Don't fall over Layla here. Okay, today is August the 8th. What happens on September the 8th? Golf tournament. That's right. 4 weeks from Monday is our golf tournament. So I'm going to give you a report I told you last week, every week. So last week, let's hear a nice round of applause for John Morris, Richard Bowers, Rodney Freeman, Steve Tate, and Steve Passon. They all sold sponsorships last week. Yes. Those sponsorships total $4,000, which is wonderful, but it's a long way from our goal. When we started the year, if you remember back in April, we had a kind of a, hey, everybody, let's buy off on this. We want all members to be able to come up with $500 in sponsorships. That's kind of a, not going to make you do it, but that'd be really nice if all the members could get $500 in sponsorships. As of today, 47 members have gotten over $500. So we're about 48% of where we should be. Okay, so we got some people out there that can help us if they get up that 500 number. We have 11 majors, I say this every week, still outstanding that sold last year. So if you got any of those, please call them, or if you know new ones we can get maybe to replace them, please do that. That's about $9,000 in sponsorships right there, just in those sponsors. Does anybody know who sold Neighborhood Holdings? Anybody in this room? Okay, good, thank you. And Nola Nash Fine Arts. Okay, good, thank you. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks a lot to John, Richard, Rod, Steve, and Steve. And let's have an even better report next week, okay? Thank you.
I was just going to say, I forgot something really important. There's a chance next week at the ice cream social that you could see Scarlett, Ray, and Jordan if you'd like to. So please come. We can't promise. She got a new boss today and it's not been officially cleared, but she's going to try to be there.
Oh, that would be nice. Okay, and to wrap up announcements, they're always going to be on the back here. So save the dates, any announcements that are in the next couple of months will always be back there. So hopefully we're always in the know. All right, next, Bill, you ready for Happy Bucks?
Happy Bucks. Isn't there a thing I carry around?
Oh gosh, it's right here.
Put in the pocket. I just put everything.
I'm not going to do a push-up right now. All right, Happy Bucks. We got one right over here. George?
I said it last week, but I have to repeat it because I'm just so happy. But this coming Monday, August 11th, will be my and my wife's 62nd anniversary.
Congratulations. I've done this one before. Help our daughter will move partially into Birmingham, Alabama. So she's driving distance now. All right, Beck?
So Rotary 101. Rotarians are members of what? Clubs. Clubs are members of? What's our district? Oh, good job, people. And districts are grouped together in what is called a zone. And what's the purpose of a zone? Yeah, so the zone is where the directors come from. And what do the directors do? One of the things they do is elect the president of Rotary International. And I was absolutely over the moon last week when a very good and long Rotarian friend of mine, Larry Lunsford, has been elected president of Rotary International for 27-28. So go, Larry, go.
All right, anybody else for Happy Bucks? Over here. Simon.
No, I just want to say thank you to Rod. It's great to be part of this club and build these true friendships. And I'm very excited to listen to Rod. And he gives shout out to a lot of people. I just wanted to give a shout out to Rod. Thank you very much.
Right. Happy Bucks for Michael.
Thank you. Hopefully everybody gets to know good old Southern boy Randy Lee as he visits the club here. If you get to know him really well, he'll tell you what his last name is. One other thing, I will not be here the next 2 weeks. I'll be in Rwanda mission trips.
Wow. That's out of town. All right. Mike?
Hey, Bill, can we take a walk? In 2 days, this coming Sunday, August the 10th, our friend Nan and Lewis Rankin, they will be celebrating 62 years of wedding bliss. Is that correct, Nan? 62 years.
Congratulations. You sure? No comment. Who's next? Oh, we're on the other end. I got to make another walk. Yeah, we are. All right, Alan.
So, hotty toddy. Hey, I got, are there any Florida State people here? Anybody? You went to Florida State? You went to Belmont? Anyway, I just noticed Alabama playing Florida State. I mean, what a joke. But hey, any Florida Gators here? Florida opens up with Long Island Community State. No, you can look it up. They were like a community college like 10 years ago, and they just got a football team.
I know this good, and I'm not going to say who their first names or games against. Anybody else? That's it for Happy Bucks.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. And now we're going to Michael Barrett. He just did a lap around, but he's going to come up here and he's going to introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you, President Jennifer. What is this tomorrow night? Is this a luau or a hacienda? Anything, just don't wear grass skirts, right? Good afternoon. So many weeks, so many Fridays, we have people to come up and say, it's a real honor for me to introduce a speaker. Hassan, thank you. I don't know why I was given this honor, but it's truly an honor for me to introduce somebody who really doesn't need an introduction to our club. If you were to say, would the tallest person, most athletic person in the room please stand up? Well, Rod Freeman would have to be the one to stand up. Let me tell you just a little bit about Rod that I might mess up, and he can correct me when he gets up here. Rod grew up in Anderson, Indiana. Played football and basketball and probably any other sport Anderson High School had. I don't know. Did you play tennis, Rod? I don't know. But there was a time, may still be, I don't know, he held the highest scoring single game record for Anderson High School, the highest rebounds in a game. He is or has been elected and is a member of the Indiana Hall of Fame. I thought you had to be old to be elected to a Hall of Fame. I thought you had to be old. During his junior year, Rod did not know this, but he received a lot of letters of interest from universities that were interested in him coming to school to play ball. He didn't see a one. His dad confiscated, stole, whatever you want to call, intercepted all of the letters that came to the house. His high school coach intercepted all of the letters that came to the school. They didn't want Rod to be disrupted during the season with how many letters he received. When they finally decided to combine all the letters, a suitcase wouldn't hold all the letters. And Rod actually sat down and read every one of them. Fortunately, for us Southerners, Rod wanted a good education. And he wanted to play in a conference where basketball was really top of the list. So he decided to sign with Vanderbilt. He was a 3-year starter at Vanderbilt. The only reason why he was not a 4-year starter is because his freshman year, freshmen weren't allowed to play with the varsity. His sophomore year at Vanderbilt, he was elected all SEC. His senior year, he led the Commodores to an 11th national ranking. That's saying something, believe me. That's when all the chemistry is working, and I think Rod would tell you that. Rod may be, I don't know this factually, he may be the only one to ever graduate from Vanderbilt drafted by 3 different teams. He was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers in the National Basketball Association. He was drafted by the Memphis Tams in the ABA. He was also drafted by the New York Giants as a tight end. He chose to go to the New York Giants. And just a couple of days in, he thought, you know, I'm either going to get hurt or somebody's going to get hurt out here. Basketball was really in his heart. And so he chose, I'll tell this, he chose to go with the New York Giants because he received a signing bonus. May have been $10. I don't know how much it was, but he received a signing bonus. He was then signed by the Philadelphia 76ers. Rod's own story, I've heard him, this is his story. He was chosen to go up against a fellow named Julius Erving. Now, some of you may not know the name Julius Erving, Dr. J, but it was Rod's responsibility to guard Dr. J in a game. And Rod will tell you, he held Dr. J to 66 points. I think it was 66, may have been 68, but anyways. He served as branch manager for Carroll Supply Company, and then he went to work for Murray of Ohio, where he worked for 16 years. If you're a longtime Brentwood resident, you remember Murray, Ohio. It was located, the office was located somewhere in the vicinity where Del Frisco and Puffy Muffin is located now. Beautiful building. The really neat thing about that, there was a helicopter that sat out front every single day where the company officials would fly in the chopper. There's also another member of our club who worked at Murray, Ohio, the same time Rod did. Rod was vice president of marketing. In other words, he was over the sales. He was in charge of sales. This other member was, as he says, on the other end of the office building. He was in the accounting department. He was finance. So he was always saying to the sales team, y'all need to be selling more. Sell more bicycles, sell more lawnmowers. He says that Rod always had these tall tales as to why there wasn't more revenue coming in, why they weren't selling more bicycles. But he served 16 years at Murray, Ohio. He founded Fitness Systems and had a little taste of retail. He served 4 years as one of our Brentwood City Commissioners. He didn't learn all that he needed to learn during those 4 years. He needs to do it again. He needs to do that one more time, at least one more time. What else? What else? He is, I think, founder of the Rocking R companies, still associated with that. He's been a member of our club for 40 years. And let me tell you, Rod has been one of the true backbones of our club, of our pancake breakfast. He's out there busting it every year. He for many, many years, stored our grills, which meant getting them down, seeing that they're delivered to the school, packing them up, storing them again, working every pancake breakfast diligently. He is an Avenue of Service recipient. He and Dinah both are major donors. Rod's done it all, you would think, but he would say there's still more to be done. But let me tell you, Rod's greatest accomplishment in life is when he got his wife Dinah to say, I do, for life. That's his greatest accomplishment. They have been blessed with a daughter, Kelly, 2 sons, Richard and Bobby. My good friend Richard, sitting right back there. Great to have you. I think that's Richard. My eyesight, yeah, that's Richard. All of them very athletic as well, as you would expect. Kelly played basketball for the University of Florida. Rod, for many years, served with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm leaving a lot out, believe me. I could go on and on for the rest of the hour, but it truly is an honor for me to be able to introduce all of our good friend, Rod Freeman.
Good. Well, the reason he went so long is that I'm sure he doesn't want to hear what I have to say. And so he's saving all you guys. You just don't know. I got a question real quick here. Thank you. Who knows what Seward's Folly is? Anybody? I know Okay, somebody shout it out. Alaska. Seward's Folly, Seward's Icebox. 1867, William Seward, who was the Secretary of the State of the United States, he negotiated and championed the purchase of Alaska from Russia. I don't think anybody realized how important that purchase was then, and definitely is now. I think the sale price on it was $7.2 million. If you do your math and figure out what that is per acre, it's about 7 to 8 cents an acre. So I'd say it's a pretty good purchase. I wanted to share stuff. Alaska. It is larger than if you take the 3 largest states in what's called the lower 48 or the continental United States. If you take Texas, Montana, and California, you combine them, they'll fit inside Alaska, and there's still more Alaska. You can fit 480 Rhode Islands in Alaska. That's a lot, by the way, okay? Here's an interesting fact. Alaska is the most northern state in the United States. It's also the most western state in the United States. And this is what you may not know. It's also the most eastern state in the United States. Anybody want to venture a guess as to why it's also the most eastern state? There you go. The Aleutian Islands come down. The very tip of the Aleutian Islands crosses the international date line, so it's in the eastern hemisphere. So that's pretty cool, I thought. So what I'm going to try to do is to share with you guys really something I don't think too many of you know. Let me give you a little bit more information, and that is that as I was talking to Bobby earlier, Bobby Sinclair, he reminded me of something that I must have said a long time ago. But when I came to Vanderbilt, I had visited 46 of the 50 states, and I'd only stayed in a hotel a handful of times. My dad was a school teacher, and he took us on 2-week vacations every summer. And we went all over the United States. He was a civics teacher. And so we visited historical monuments, national parks, historical sites, you name it. And so I got a heck of an education as a result of that. My dad planned an epic vacation for us. We didn't realize how epic it was until we jumped into it. And so in the summer of 1965, my family and I'm one of 3 children, my brother and my sister, mom and dad. And we also took my grandfather, who oddly enough was 74 years old at the time, and went with us. My mom and dad were 38. I was 14, my brother was 11, and my sister was 8. So we left on July 2nd. We got back on August 21st. We were 52 days on this trip, and that's from Ottumwa, Iowa, which is where my grandfather lived, but we picked him up. We lived in Anderson, so you could actually add 2 more days to that because it's a day's drive from Anderson to Ottumwa. So we were gone for a while. I suspect that we probably traveled somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 miles in that time period. So let's see here. What we want to do is, I can do this, is that right? The other way, excuse me. Okay, so first of all, I want you guys, I don't want to get in you guys' way here, but so here's where we are in Nashville, okay? So we were in Indiana, but basically we worked our way up to Canada, worked up like this. We entered Canada into the province of Manitoba. We went from Manitoba through Saskatchewan over to Alberta, British Columbia, and eventually, you geography folks, do you know what this is up here? The Yukon, exactly. We worked our way up to the Yukon. The area that we spent most of our time in is here because there's no roads up here to speak of, okay? So let's see here. Let's go to the next one real quick. So I'm gonna cut this down. What you're gonna see here is basically, I want to talk to you about when we were at Whitehorse in the Yukon, and we traveled up here the Yukon River We traveled up to Dawson City, which is actually a little further up here, okay? And from Dawson City, we crossed over into Alaska. From there, we made our way over to Fairbanks. Fairbanks, we came down to Anchorage. From Anchorage, we went down to Seward on the Kenai Peninsula, came back up, went down to Valdez, which is the termination of the Alaska pipeline, which it was not done then, obviously, but that's pretty interesting. Just FYI, you guys know it goes from Prudhoe Bay down to Valdez, it's the Alaskan pipeline. Anyway, came on back up and then worked our way down to Haines. Haines is going to be in this area right here, okay? And my dad made the decision to come back to the come back home that way because one, we thought it'd be shorter and it didn't cost us any more money to do that. But the way we did it is we had to get on what's called a ferry at on the Marine Highway in Alaska, which they still operate. That's the way it gets up and down. So we worked our way down to Juneau, Sitka, and Ketchikan before we went down to Prince Rupert and got off the ferry, got to Prince Rupert, and then we headed on back. So how many of y'all been to Alaska? I kind of figured there would be a lot. How many of y'all were on cruises when you went to Alaska? Well, I can't, that's great. Usually if you're on a cruise, you're going to start, if you start down here, you're going to start either in Seattle or in Vancouver, and you're going to work your way up through the Inside Passage. You're either going to terminate at Seward or at Whittier, okay? And if you happen to get into the interior, that's where you'll do that. Or if you go up to Alaska first and work your way back, that's what you're going to see. So most of the cruises are going to take place in this part of Alaska. Fair enough? Those of you who have done that? Okay, good. All right, so let's see here. What I want to do is, I'm in control here, I guess, right? Okay, so here's the, we're up here in Dawson City. We cross over into the, to Alaska here, come down to what's called Tok Junction, Tetland Junction, worked our way up to Fairbanks. Now, what's interesting is the road that people can travel on now, which follows the railroad from Fairbanks down to Anchorage, didn't exist. So we had to backtrack, come down what's called the Healy Highway, or that's the Healy Highway, come back down this highway here down to get to Anchorage. So we were going to take this road right here. I'm going to talk about just a second here, if I can, some things that happened before we had a chance to get too far into Denali. We didn't even get to Denali Park when I was up there, and there's a reason for it. But can you guys see the road system enough right there to all the roads are one way. You go in, and if you want to come, you got to come the same road, come right back out again. Okay. There's very few roads up there. And I've been on just about every one of them. And it's amazing. Okay, so let's do this here. Okay, let's go. One of the most iconic things that you probably everybody knows about Alaska is Denali or Mount McKinley. Okay, this is taken from Wonder Lake. This is on the north side of the mountain. I've got pictures. I don't think I've got them in here though. Of the south side also. Last summer, I had the privilege of taking an airplane up to what's called Ruth Glacier, which is on the south side, and we were just right there. Rich was with us. Pretty cool. Okay, let's see here. This road right here, okay, it's called the Kantishna Road, and it starts at where you would call it the visitor center in Denali. Has anybody ever been to Kantishna? Okay, this takes you about a day, and you got to plan ahead for this. A bus takes you all the way back to an old mining village. We stayed back there, but it's absolutely phenomenal because you've got all the animals and everything all along the road. And we got lucky. These pictures are taken. We had to leave Kantishna at 6:30 in the morning, and it rained all night. We get up the next day, and that's what we see. What you're seeing here is the sunlight from the east hitting the peak there. But it was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's see here. All right, so you can laugh if you want. It's okay. This is how we got up there, okay? A VW bus, 4 cylinders, pulled an Emerald trailer. That's my grandfather. This is in their driveway, actually. It's out on the street there in Ottumwa. This guy right there's me. There's my mom. There's my brother. There's my sister. Dad's taking the picture. So this is the way we started our trip. So as we worked our way up through the Canadian provinces, right inside of British Columbia from Alberta is what they call mile marker 0. And what that is, this is the start of the the Alcan Highway, Alaska-Canada Highway, okay? It was started being built in 1942. Has anybody been on the Alcan Highway in here? Well, if you were to be on it today, it's nothing like it was in 1965. And so it gives you miles here. The way that you knew where you were is that you had mile markers. And that's the only way you would know where you were on the road. There was nobody up there in 1965. The state of Alaska was made a state in 1959. We were up there 60 years later, okay? The reason we took this picture right here, that's actually my uncle. He traveled with us for a short period of time. The first 100 miles of the Alaskan Highway back then was paved. The next 1,500 was not paved. It was gravel. And permafrost screwed with it. Not only was it gravel, there would be large chunks of rock that was smooth, but it was hard as a rock. And so we're getting ready to go down the Alcan Highway. Here it is right here. So that's the way we got to Alaska. And so the first issue we had a lot of issues, okay? We ended up having 15 flats going up there. The majority of them were on our trailer, and there's a reason for that, is that you're pulling this trailer, and you got to understand, we're not going fast, but the trailer is bouncing, okay? And by the time you figured out that you had a flat tire, you had destroyed the tire, and I got a picture in here later on, you also would destroy the rim. And so there was tons of challenges that we had. Okay, so where we went up to what's called Watson Lake before we headed up to Dawson City. And okay, so this guy right here, I'll never forget, his name is Rudy. He's a German. This guy right here. We ended up breaking, the trailer had a spindle, had an axle on it. The spindle's on the end. One of the spindles broke because of the constant pounding, on the road. And so Mom and Dad made the decision, you know what, we're up here, we're going to keep on going. We load everybody in the VW. We had 2 Army pup tents that we took with us, and he said, we'll make it work. And you can imagine that we're all in it was crazy, but we did it. And so the way that Dad backtracked, because I remember seeing this place, Mr. Rudy here, he had 2 poles. You can see them sticking out the back right here. He would set them on the back of his truck. He had a winch in the back of his truck, winched it up in there. And so that's the record service that took care of us that day. So we went on, we finally got going again, and we went to Watson Lake. Well, Watson Lake, I'm going to try to hurry here. Goodness, I'm not going to have enough time. Okay, Watson Lake has what's called the signpost forest. Anybody ever heard of that? One of the workers on the Alcan Highway got homesick. He decided to put up a post, and he put his town that he was from, how many miles it was from there, and that's what started the signpost forest. And we've got ours right there. Whoops, hang on here. And so we've got our names up here. We've got how many miles it is to Anderson from that location. This is the only figure I could come up with. In 2010, there were 76,000 signs up there. Wow. So it's quite a place. Where we had broken our axle was about 60 miles, 50 to 60 miles from Watson Lake. So we go back, we unload the trailer. The trailer's going to stay there. What we're going to do, what Dad's going to do, he's going to order a new axle from Seattle, going to come to Anchorage. We would go ahead and do Alaska, pick it up, come back to Watson Lake, hook it up, come back home after we got done. Dad goes and we go to Watson Lake. There's a small gas station there. My dad's a MacGyver type of a guy. And thank heavens he is. And he grew up on the streets of Indianapolis. He could fix anything. more out of necessity than, that's why he did it. But what's interesting is that he's walking around in this gas station. He sees a lathe, a metal lathe in the back of the gas station. He goes and says, hey, who runs this? I said, I do. So Dad says, can you weld? And Dad described to him our axle. Can you weld it? And then can you turn it so that the hub will spin freely on it? And the guy said, I think so. So Dad gets in the VW. He goes, and we're at a campsite there in Watson Lake. He goes back to where picks the axle up, brings it back. The guy welds it, turns it. Dad goes back the other direction, puts it on, and then brings the trailer back to us. He went over 250, almost 300 miles in one day and didn't go anywhere. And now, real quick story here is that my brother and I talked him into letting us go with him back one time. There were no cars up there. And so nobody was on the road. We said, hey, we want to go fishing. And so what we did, he let us out. He said, I'll pick you up on the way back. He was gone for 2 hours, okay? And so we get out and we're down there and we're fishing and we're having a big time. I'm 14, my brother's 11, and we get tired of fishing. So what we do is we start walking along the creek that's down there, just being kids, looking around, and I look in the creek and there's a dead timber wolf. Now, if you guys have ever seen a timber wolf, they're huge. This guy was bloated. He was huge. His fangs scared the living daylights out of me. I grabbed my brother. We went back up on the bridge and we sat there, did not move until Dad came back and picked us up. So, and there's story after story that, okay, so I mentioned to you that this is actually in Watson Lake. This is what caused the axle to break. That's our hub, or that's our wheel from our trailer. Can you guys see how butchered up that is? And a lot of that, we had stuff rimmed up, and we had extra tires. So, okay, so we work our way up to Dawson City. Dawson City is where the Klondike empties, the Klondike River empties into the Yukon River. It's where the Klondike Gold Rush occurred. What was that? 1998, 96, something like that. The town of Dawson City went from, 500, I think 500 people, maybe. It swelled to about 17,000 because of the gold rush. This is Robert Service's cabin. He's a Canadian Scottish poet and writer. And so my brother and I talked, Dad, we were out working up and down the Klondike. My dad let my brother and I go exploring. Come on, Rod. Let's see here. I'm going to back this up. This is my sister. You can hardly see her right here. We had to take her with us. But what we did is we dumped her on this island because the water was too deep for her to go across. Greg and I went across. We went up at the trapper's cabin, and it was the most unbelievable thing that we, when we looked in there, there's chunks of meat hanging off the walls. And this guy is there working this, working a claim. He's probably back up, maybe hunting. I don't know. But we looked in there and took a peek at it. I said, we got to get out of here before somebody shows up. So Dawson City, like I said, the only way to get from Alaska from Dawson City is to cross the Yukon River. This is the ferry that we took, literally, across the Yukon River. What propelled it was the current. It was attached from one side to the other with a cable. You could only get 4 cars or so on there. We had a car and a trailer. But when you got on there, it would do this, okay? And what propelled it was the current, and they had a rudder, and that's what made it go back and forth. So anyway, quite an experience. Dawson City, we're waiting on it to come back, and so that's my brother. And okay, so we get up, and we're on what's called the top of the world highway. You climb out away from the Yukon, you go up the mountain, you get elevated, and you literally, there's this absolutely gorgeous drive that's on the top of the mountains. And about 10 miles in, 20 miles in, you then cross over into Alaska. Right when we were getting ready to come off the mountain and head down and head to what's referred to as Chicken, Alaska. Those of you that want to look it up, it's there. But we were heading down. All of a sudden, we have another flat. And we have no more tires. we're up on this narrow road. We got to get off. My dad being the MacGyver guy, he goes out, we chop down a 4-caliber tree. We lash it. That's what Dad's doing right here. We lash it to the axle with a chain, and he starts pulling it very slowly down the mountain. What we learned real quick is that didn't last very long. About 100 yards, it burned it up. So Dad and my dad, my grandfather, and my sister, and my brother, they all left Mom and I up here with this trailer, okay? They went down the mountain. They were gone for several hours. Dad found an old gold dredging rig down there. He starts pilfering around in it. There's nobody around. He finds a big piece of steel, come back up. We lash the steel to it. It gets us down off the mountain. It took about 5 hours to go from here down to an old abandoned airstrip. I'm leaving out. Left my mom and I with the trailer and a 30-06. And the 30-06 was not for people, it was for animals, okay? And so we were left there. So once we get down to the airstrip, we set up camp. My brother and I, very comfortable with all that stuff. We could both cook. We thought it was the greatest thing since light bread. And my grandfather stayed with us. And so what happened is that Mom and Dad went on into Interior Alaska, and where they ended up was a place called Tok Junction. And so that's where they were going to get stuff, come back the other direction. And so while we were there for a day and a half, okay, just one night, day and a half, one car came by. That was it. The car that came by stopped, said, "Is your name Freeman?" We said, "Yes." They said, "This is from your mom and dad." And it was, it was a loaf of bread. So anyway, but real quick, my grandfather was, he was a comedian, but Greg and I'd be cooking dinner. He would disappear and go out in the woods. He would come back, we'd sit down, we would offer our prayers. He would reach into his pocket. I keep thinking of this stuff. He'd reach into his pocket and he would pull this stuff out, and we'd go around to our plates and he would drop this stuff on our plates. You reach in and get some more, and you do this. And what are you doing? It's our vitamins. So do you know what his vitamins were? Dried moose, dried rabbit, dried deer, dumpling. It was dung, and so. But anyway, so that was kind of a fun thing. But so anyway, all right. So we finally this is Ray Scobie. This is Tok Junction. I won't talk a lot about him, but he ended up being a pretty famous guy. If you can actually look him up. We finally get to Fairbanks, 1,500 miles. You can see mile 1523. And then from Fairbanks, we worked our way, while we were in Fairbanks, Dad spent a lot of money. He took us to the fair that was going on called Golden Days. He told us he was going to take us out to eat. My brother and my sister, because of their age, they could enter a pie eating contest. I got pushed out of the pie eating contest, but what I did, gosh almighty, let's see here. That's me right there. It was a greased pig chase. And if a lady picked up the pig before you did, you had to, you couldn't, she dropped it, I picked it up. I got a trophy to this day from bringing that greased pig. So anyway, we come down, we're trying to get into Denali National Park. What happened here was that all of a sudden, I told you, a VW with 4 cylinders, rocker arm brakes on it. And so we're down to 2 cylinders. Doesn't have the power to pull us in the trailer. We literally, this is a true story. I'm not making this stuff up. And so we had to all get out. My sister, who was 8 years old, she steered the car, and we pushed it up the hill. And so I'm looking at it. I probably took this picture here. Finally, Dad flagged the guy down, chained up, pulled us on into Palmer, Alaska. And so but it was just, all right, I'm going to fast forward. I'm running out of time here. Juneau, my dad catches this salmon. This is my brother and my grandfather and dad in the middle. So we're camping at the base of Mendenhall Glacier. Anybody, you guys that have been to Alaska probably have seen Mendenhall Glacier. Okay, this is Mendenhall Glacier, back in 1965. Okay. This is what it looks like now. This water you see right here in the foreground right here. I mean, my dad and I, we camped right here. We walked around the water, got a chunk of ice that had fallen off. I mean, it was a big chunk of ice. We found a stick, put it through there because of the holes that it would drill because of the water dripping. Took it back, chopped it up. That was our ice for our yeah. So anyway, it had receded, and but anyway, so there you go. I'm going to hustle up here, and we got Sitka, Juneau. Ketchikan was the last city that we visited in Alaska. I did this because you got to know my dad. This is a paper mill. We camped outside of Ketchikan. This is a paper mill that we went in to see how they did it. Well, their employees could go through this car wash. Well, Dad just got in line like an employee, went through and knocked all the dirt off. You can see that we've got tires on the front for the VW, and then we had tires on the tongue of the trailer. So, okay, so that's it. I didn't need the others, did I? So, hey, I would say that Alaska, if you haven't gone, if they refer to it as the last frontier. That's what intrigued my dad. He wanted to go up there and see the last frontier. I have really run through this stuff, but I've had the good fortune of going back up there in 2016 and then again last summer. And there is so much beauty up there. There's so much to experience. If you do go up on a cruise, try to get off the boat and head into interior Alaska and see what else you can see. So anyway, that's a quick look at what I did in 1965. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
We're going to be quick about that. Look how much lower I've got to make that. Okay. Welcome again, Randy. Thank you. And thank you for applying. So we're excited to get to know you better. I know you, but the others get to know you. Nan, she is not bringing your lovely bride. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Cool Springs Target. Don't forget, 5:30 to 8:30, my house. Hope to see you sometime tomorrow. Tables and chairs, 8 in a stack, not up against the wall. And if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, anything else? Oh, yes. Sorry. Next week's speaker. This is one not to miss. Stephanie Coleman. She is the president of the Nashville Chamber of Commerce. So we are going to have a great presentation about what's going on in Nashville next week. So please come next week. And again, that's it for the good of Rotary.
She's on big sound.